Live Interactive English. Hi everyone, I'm Mike.
And I'm Sam.
And today we are going to be telling a story or reading a story. It is a very famous story, but not one of the typical sort of fairy tales or things that we sometimes tell. This is a Greek myth. And I know we were talking earlier, Sam, and you said you're kind of a fan of Greek myths.
Yes.
You like these ancient stories that come to us from ancient Greece, of course.
Yes, and so this kind of follows Greek mythology. You might hear it said in that way. And mythology is just this study of all the different myths that they had. And this was kind of the religion and the stories and all that kind of stuff that got passed down from ancient Greece. And boy, is it complicated.
Oh, it is.
There are many, many stories. There are many different gods and goddesses and demigods and nymphs and all these different characters.
That's right.
And they have lots of interaction.
If you think that the plot, the story of your favorite Korean drama is complicated with who loves who and who's dating, that is nothing compared to Greek myths.
Yes.
Gods are always doing kind of naughty things in the stories. There are many characters, but the cool thing about Greek myths is if you read them, you get so much information, so many clues about words and ideas that we still use today. So of course these stories were a way for people to entertain themselves back in the old days before computer games and Netflix. But they were also ways to kind of give life lessons, right? Morals. This is a good thing to do. This is a bad thing to do. If you're jealous of people, look at the bad things that could happen to you, like that guy, or things like that. And many of the names of the characters have become just common words that we use today. And you'll probably see that in the title of our story.
Yes, and so our story today, Echo and Narcissus.
Echo and Narcissus. I have to stop saying the S's. It's Narcissus.
Yes.
Okay, not Narcissus. All right, let's get to the story of Echo, and Narcissus.
Once there lived a nymph named Echo. Echo loved to talk. She would share stories and laughter with anyone who passed by. But one day, Echo helped Zeus, the king of the gods, hide his love affairs from his wife, the goddess Hera. Echo did this by distracting Hera with a story. When Hera found out about this ruse, she was furious. To punish Echo, Hera put a curse on the nymph. From then on, Echo could only repeat the last words spoken to her.
Okay, so like we said, today is all about Greek mythology, and we have two stories and two characters, and again, you might see these words look kind of familiar. They're the names in these stories, but they kind of look like words you might know. And so we have these two characters, Echo and Narcissus.
Exactly
so this is
right.
part one.
So let's find out what's going on with Echo and Narcissus. Well, it starts once upon a time, I'm going to say, because that's how a good fairy tale should start. But no, once there lived a nymph named Echo. All right, so there's a very quick setup. We've met one of our main characters, Echo, and we know that Echo is a nymph. What is a nymph, you ask? Good question, I say. A nymph is basically a character or a type of person, a creature, I guess we could even say, that we often find in Greek myth. Think of a nymph kind of like a fairy. It might be a creature found in the forest. It's a creature of nature. You might remember or have seen pictures of Pan, right? He's the Greek god. He's got like a head of a goat and the body more of a man. And often around Pan, he's a forest god. He's playing his flute, and nymphs, kind of like forest fairies, are dancing around. So very nice, very innocent, probably quite beautiful as well. And this is Echo. Now, Echo, when she wasn't dancing around in the forest doing what nymphs do, Echo loved to talk. Blah, 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 blah. I just want to tell you this. Hey, here's another story. She loved to talk. She would share stories and laughter with anyone who passed by. So if you're inviting people to a party or a dinner party, invite Echo. If you're going to the library, leave Echo at home. She does not stop talking, but she's very nice and entertaining.
Yeah, so I think that so far it sounds like, oh, that's pretty nice. She sounds like a good character. She tells story and brings laughter to everybody. But since this is Greek mythology, she's probably going to end up making somebody mad, and then something will happen.
Oh, no.
So let's see. And it says, but one day, Echo helped Zeus, the king of the gods, hide his love affairs from his wife, the goddess Hera.
Oh no, that's a bad move, Echo.
Yeah, so again, Greek mythology, there's a lot of kind of this god loves that god loves, just a lot of intermixing. And so we have Zeus, the king of all of the gods, is married to Hera. She is the queen of all the gods. But Zeus seems to be finding some other people that he might want to be with besides Hera. And unfortunately, Echo got caught in the middle. So Echo did this by distracting Hera with a story. So she was telling Hera a story while Zeus could kind of sneak off and do something not so good. And well, of course, when Hera found out about this ruse, she was furious.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Yes, and so we had this word ruse. This is like she found out about this trick that they were playing on her, and boy, was she furious.
Yeah.
And furious is a great word. It's an adjective that just means very, 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 very angry. So if you are writing a story and you want to say he was very mad, you could replace that with he was furious. So this is a very good vocabulary word. And our example sentence, it says, I am furious with John because he was late to my party. I said it started at 7 and he was here at 7:01.
I'm so furious because it was just me and Echo at the party. And she was like, I just want to tell you one more thing. So there you go, Zeus. Whenever Zeus appears in a Greek myth, you know, things are going to get a little crazy. Zeus is married to Hera, the sort of queen of the gods, but Zeus has many girlfriends and many love affairs. He is a bad husband.
Yeah.
He may be a good god, but he is a bad husband. So, of course, when Echo helps Zeus hide his girlfriends from his wife Hera, Hera gets upset. But why doesn't she get upset with Zeus? He's the guy with the girlfriends. She gets upset with Echo, who's just trying to help the boss god. I mean, if Echo says, no, Zeus, I'm not going to help you hide your girlfriends, boom, Zeus turns her into a plant or something like that. So anyways, so Hera is now angry with Echo because Hera's husband Zeus is cheating on her with other girls. I don't know. Anyways, to punish Echo, Hera put a curse on the nymph. Okay, so yes, these characters are gods. They are filled with incredible powers and they can do things like put a curse on you, put sort of a mark of bad luck on you when we talk about a curse, or we could use it as a verb to curse someone. We're kind of using some kind of evil magic or just making bad wishes that we hope will hurt someone we don't like or we don't agree with or whatever. True, this doesn't really happen in the world. People can have bad luck, but you won't really find witches who go, I will put a curse on that person and their hair will fall out tomorrow if you say these magic words or make a magic thing or something. But that's the idea. And of course, we see this in many kinds of stories. People putting a curse on another person to give them bad luck so that something bad happens to them because I don't like them. For example, the story goes that an old woman put a curse on the king, and that's why he fell off his horse when he was hunting and died or whatever. It could have just been bad luck too. But anyways, in the story, she puts a curse on Echo, the nymph. From then on, after Hera puts the curse on her, Echo could only repeat the last words spoken to her. So she could only echo what she heard, right? And of course, when we're outside, maybe in the mountains, and you yell out a noise or shout out a sound, you might hear that sound bouncing back at you. We call that an echo. So of course, that's where we get the English term from, this character. So if I said to her, "How are you doing today?" she would say,
Doing today.
yeah, that's all she can say. Makes it really hard to order food that you want at the restaurant.
Yes.
Because you have to eat what the other person just ordered. That would be terrible. All right, let's take a break and then we'll be back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。这次读的故事是 Echo and Narcissus 爱可与纳西萨斯。那这个故事呢，是出自罗马诗人奥维德的作品《变形记》，而这个作品啊，是取材自古希腊罗马神话。我们补充一下 myth 这个字 myth myth 表示迷思或是神话，那么 mythology 则表示神话的总称。我们来读一下故事，就是从前呢，有一位仙女 Echo， 她很爱说话，她会跟任何路过的人来分享故事和欢笑。有一天 Echo 她帮助众神之王 Zeus 向他的妻子隐瞒他的风流韵事。那么 Zeus 的妻子 Hera 发现时，她火冒三丈，非常生气。为了惩罚 Echo， 就对这个仙女下了诅咒。从此 Echo 只能重复别人对她说的最后几个字。我们看单字 furious， 它是形容词，形容暴怒的、大发雷霆的。curse 它可以当动词表达诅咒、咒骂或者是施魔咒，它也可以当名词来表达诅咒或是咒语。Put a curse on somebody 是表达对某人下咒。Sam 老师刚刚有提到说，希腊诸神之间有很多情感纠葛，爱恨交织。那补充一个动词是 intermix， intermix。intermix 可以表达混合、使混合、混杂的意思。那接华课文中。
Not long after, Echo saw a handsome young man, Narcissus, walking through the forest. He was so beautiful that many people who saw him fell in love with him. Echo, too, fell for Narcissus the moment she laid eyes on him. She wanted to talk to him, but could no longer speak freely. Narcissus was proud and did not care about anyone else. When he realized Echo was following him, he found her strange and pushed her away.
"Leave me alone. Do not caress me,"
he said, and Echo could only say, "Caress me." Feeling rejected and hurt, Echo hid herself away. Her body slowly faded, and all that remained was her voice.
All right, so because of Hera's curse, Echo can only repeat the last words spoken to her. I'm sure this will cause no problems.
Yeah, no, she'll be fine the rest of her life. So let's see, well, how does this affect her? Not long after, meaning not long after this happened and she got the curse on her, Echo saw a handsome young man, Narcissus, walking through the forest. He was so beautiful that many people who saw him fell in love with him. Echo, too, fell for Narcissus the moment she laid eyes on him. So yeah, true love at first sight. She wanted to talk to him, but could no longer speak freely.
That's right. Remember the curse. Narcissus was proud. He's so handsome. He was proud and did not care about anyone else. A very handsome guy who is only worried about himself. Oh, Narcissus. When he realized Echo was following him, he found her strange and pushed her away. "Leave me alone. Do not caress me," he said. because Echo's like, oh, you're so handsome. Can we go on a date? No, leave me alone. Do not caress me, said the beautiful Narcissus. And Echo could only say,
Caress me.
there you go. She can only say, caress me, which is, of course, the last words that Narcissus said. But now she's kind of saying, ooh, he said, don't touch me. And she's saying, touch me, touch me.
Yeah, so it doesn't work so well when one person says no and the other person can't even say, I'm sorry, I just want to talk to you.
Yeah.
So she feels very sad and feeling rejected and hurt, Echo hid herself away. Her body slowly faded and all that remained was her voice. So if you hear this story now, it kind of sounds a little bit like how we got an echo. So if you're way back in ancient Greece and you're shouting into the mountains and you realize that a sound is bouncing back at you, you might think, why does this happen? Well, there must be a story for why I get an echo coming back to me. And now we have a story. So,
Voice of the echo.
yes, and so we had this, just her voice remains because her body faded away. So to fade just means to slowly disappear from view. So it could be, as in our example sentence, we watched the train fade from view as we stood on the platform. So it just got farther and farther away, or it turned a corner and we can't see. Or like in our story where her body must have just kind of disappeared. So it slowly faded away into nothing as kind of a magical way. So just fade from view. You can't see it anymore.
Exactly right. At the end of the day, as the sun goes down slowly over a few hours, the light will fade. It doesn't just turn off like an electric switch. It goes away slowly, and only her voice remained. So the only thing left behind after her body disappeared was her voice, and that is what it means to remain. This verb means what is left behind, with the idea that other things have gone away, right? So if you have a bunch of friends over to your house to watch a movie, they, at the end of the night, hopefully, they will leave and go home, and you and your cat and whoever you live with will remain in your home. You will stay behind while the other ones have gone home or disappeared or whatever. They're not here, but you are. For example, little remained of the town after the earthquake. Oh my gosh, just a few buildings were left. Most of the other ones had fallen down or crashed down to the ground. All right, well, that's the end of our story for today. We remain.
Yes.
We do. And hopefully you guys will remain with us tomorrow when we come back to figure out what's going to happen with Echo and Narcissus. And will Zeus ever get in trouble for being a bad husband? No, I think the answer to that one is no.
I was going to say, spoiler alert, no.
Just do it again. All right, guys, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Echo 被 Hera 下诅咒，他只能重复别人对他说的最后几个字。那不久后 ，Echo 看见一名英俊的年轻人 Narcissus， 他在森林里面走着，他非常的俊美，以至于很多人看到他都会爱上他。Echo 也对他一见钟情。那这个年轻人 Narcissus， 他非常自负，不在乎其他任何人。当他意识到 Echo 在跟踪他的时候，他就觉得 Echo 很奇怪，也把他推开。他对 Echo 说：“别烦我，不要抚摸我。”可是 Echo 他只能重复他最后几个字，抚摸我，抚摸我这样子。那么 Echo 觉得被拒绝很伤心，于是躲起来，他的身体慢慢消失，只剩下他的声音。所以 Echo 这个单字啊，它当名词就有回声、回音的意思，那么当动词就表示发出回声。我们也补充一下跟 Narcissus 有关的单字，像 narcissistic 就可以形容是自恋的、自我陶醉的。Narcissist 则是指自恋者、自我陶醉者。好，那课文单字 fade， 它是动词，表示逐渐消失、减弱或者是褪色。那么 remain 这个动词则表示剩余、遗留或者是有保持、继续的意思。这边4个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是感官动词，它是指看、听、闻、感觉之类的动词，包括 watch、see、look at、 listen to, hear, smell, feel 等等。那常见的用法我们来看一下，第一种是感官动词加受词加原形动词，那这样的句型是指事实或过程。第二个句型是感官动词加受词加现在分词 VING， 这是表达动作正在进行。例如 We saw some kids playing baseball， 我们看到一些小朋友正在打棒球。We stood there and watched them play baseball， 我们站在那里看他们打棒球。好，那第二个重点是用 so 加上形容词或副词，再加 that 子句，是表达如此怎么样，结果怎么样，非常怎么样，以至于怎么样。好，那么 so 是副词，用来强调它后方的形容词或副词的程度，以至于造成了 that 子句的结果。举例来说 The man spoke so quickly that I could hardly understand what he was saying. 那名男子讲话非常快，以至于我几乎听不懂他在说什么。好，那第三个重点是 the moment 可以引导时间副词子句，是指在什么什么那一刻就怎么样，一怎么样就怎么样，就类似 as soon as 的用法。moment 也可以用 minute 或者是 instant 来代换。举例来说 The moment she saw her parents,Her face broke into a smile. 在她见到爸妈的那一刻，脸上就突然露出了笑容。那第四个重点是 lay eyes on somebody or something， 这是表达看到某人事物的意思。那么 lay 的动词三态是 lay, laid, laid。举例来说 Lisa fell in love with the dress the moment she laid eyes on it. Lisa 第一眼看见那件洋装就爱上了。好，那么以上今天的讲解，同学们别走开，马上回来哦。
Once there lived a nymph named Echo. Echo loved to talk. She would share stories and laughter with anyone who passed by. But one day, Echo helped Zeus, the king of the gods, hide his love affairs from his wife, the goddess Hera. Echo did this by distracting Hera with a story. When Hera found out about this ruse, she was furious. To punish Echo, Hera put a curse on the nymph. From then on, Echo could only repeat the last words spoken to her. Not long after, Echo saw a handsome young man, Narcissus, walking through the forest. He was so beautiful that many people who saw him fell in love with him. Echo too fell for Narcissus the moment she laid eyes on him. She wanted to talk to him, but could no longer speak freely. Narcissus was proud and did not care about anyone else. When he realized Echo was following him, he found her strange and pushed her away.
Leave me alone. Do not caress me,
He said, and Echo could only say, "Caress me." Feeling rejected and hurt, Echo hid herself away. Her body slowly faded, and all that remained was her voice.
So that's what I've got so far. What do you think?
So regarding this project, I have an innovative idea that could set us apart.
Okay, that sounds great, but be careful not to tread on the manager's toes. She's pretty particular about the way she wants things done.
Tread on her toes? I'm not even near her, and what does that have to do with the project anyways?
No, treading on someone's toes means doing something that offends them or annoys them, especially when it comes to do with responsibilities or authority.
Oh, I get it. Okay, I'll make sure I'll present my idea in a way that respects her vision. Hi everyone, today's phrase is tread on someone's toes.
Yes, and it doesn't refer to the physical act of stepping on toes.
It's a metaphor that usually means offending someone by getting too involved in their area of responsibility or expertise.
Exactly, and it's often used in a work context where hierarchy and rules are important.
For example, if you make a decision that's usually made by your boss without consulting them, you might be treading on their toes.
So, how can you use it in a sentence? Here's one. When offering advice in team meetings, he's careful not to tread on anyone's toes.
Or, I try not to tread on my colleagues' toes when making suggestions for improvement.
It's all about respect and not overstepping boundaries.
Right. Remember, next time you're about to take action, consider if it might tread on someone's toes.
That's all for today.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.